Hello everyone. Welcome back to another amazing video on this incredible community that all of us are building, really. If you're new here, my name is Bernadette Desir. I am a mother, artist, mental health advocate, podcaster, and so on. Thank you so much for allowing me to be part of your incredible journeys. And in return, as always, thank you so much for being part of my journey. All of us are walking home, just differently in different directions. And that is so beautiful, and that is okay. I am honored to be part of that walk and journey with you. All right. So, welcome. As you guys can see in this video, what I'll be talking about is childhood trauma. First of all, what is it? How does it come up? And how many of us actually experience it? And I'm going to be diving deep into this and I hope you take what resonates and go from there. All right. It's been put on my heart, unlike many other topics that I've talked about, um, to talk about this. Why? Because I think so many of us are dealing with childhood traumas and unresolved pain from places that we may not consciously remember or understand where and why and how do these problems continue to surface for us as adults. Maybe there are certain triggers for you and things that you have a sense of an idea, yeah, that runs in my family. So and so had this. I'm experiencing it, but you're not really grasping the depth of it, of how far and how deep you need to go to work on what you're experiencing. All right. And if let's say, you're one of those people who haven't had as much trauma as other people, that is okay. I hope you take and leave what works for you. All right. And let me say this, trauma is trauma. Whether you experience it as a child, as an adult, it echoes the same type of grievance and pain for lots of us. All right. So, what is childhood trauma? And have you experienced any forms of childhood traumas that you're aware of? All right. So, childhood trauma is an experience where we feel unsafe as kids. We feel very frightened, and whether it's an event or type of injustice that happened, it's very painful to go back to it. And at times, we may not have had enough support to go through all the trauma and pain as a child. Because kids, they're like little sponges, you guys. They soak in so much information and they don't understand how to process and how to cope like adults do. All right. That's what makes this so tricky at times to understand what really is going on. All right. And maybe growing up for you, you had a very loving family, very supportive, understanding parents that were emotionally available and physically involved, and whether it was through different activities they did, or they were just there for you. You felt the love, and here you are as an adult. Somehow something feels like it's missing. You don't understand what it is because maybe you have everything you need to thrive and survive in this life. Maybe you already have your family, a job, and all of the different boxes that society tells us we need to check at a certain age. Maybe. Maybe on the other end of what I'm trying to explain here, maybe you grew up in a very, very toxic environment, a very toxic household. You had to grow up really fast, really. And you were forced to grow up fast, not because it was your time to grow up. You were forced to take on responsibilities, not because they were yours to take on to carry. And here you are. Here you are, maybe as a man, as a woman, who is in agony, internal agony, and maybe You kind of know what you need to work on, but you don't understand where to start. You've gotten help, whether it's professionally, colleagues, and through friends. Maybe you've been working on yourself by yourself in private, and you're frustrated because you know that you have done so much work, but where is the healing? Where's the result that you've been hoping for? Those are questions you can ask yourself. Where is it? And the where is not a place that we can always know that exists, and that's okay. All right. And maybe as a child, you've experienced very traumatic experiences, experiences that really, really shake your core and made you who you are today. All right. Maybe all the pain that you've experienced, that was good. It taught you lessons. It taught you how to survive in a very cruel and brutal society. All right. So I'm going to walk you through some of the common childhood traumas. Okay. And take and leave what works and be honest. Face the music. It's painful, but you can do it. All right. The first one is emotional trauma. Emotional trauma is often overlooked, especially in adulthood, because when we experience emotional trauma as kids, we are taught to toughen up, suck it in. Boys don't cry. You don't cry. Just don't show any emotion. That becomes very dangerous as an adult because you're carrying in so much anger, so much hurt that needed to be released a long time ago, but it hasn't been released. It hasn't been released not because you don't understand that it doesn't, it impacts you. You do, you know it impacts you, but you don't know how to process it, okay? Maybe emotional trauma as a child for you was criticism. You were humiliated. And maybe you felt ignored, unloved, unsafe, whether it was emotionally. Maybe you were rejected. Maybe you were taught that your feelings, they didn't matter. Okay. So for many people, this can lead to low self-worth, people pleasing, and fear of rejection. All right. And another type of trauma that happens during childhood, even as adults, is physical trauma. Maybe you were spanked, you got hurt. I was spanked as a child. All right. I could never do anything right. If I thought I did, it wasn't enough. Okay. Maybe that was you. Maybe you grew up in a very militant family, very strict. Okay. Maybe you were spanked, you were threatened, you got punished very, very harshly for things that were not in your control. Okay. And maybe in the home that you lived in, there was a lot of violence and abuse, whether it was towards you, siblings, and other family members. All right? Maybe. And another one um, is, what can cause physical trauma and how does it impact? I want to cover that first. It can cause you to be very hyper alert, very you have difficulty trusting others, and it can cause you to have fear. All right, that's what this can cause. The next one I'm going to cover is sexual trauma. Uh, that one hit home for me. I'm being honest with myself. You be honest with yourself. And know that, especially as a child, if you experienced any type of sexual trauma, please don't blame yourself. Okay. And maybe it happened to you and it was not in your control. And maybe it's so tricky to talk about. I'm trying to put it into context. It's so hard to talk about. But I want to do another video focusing on sexual trauma. Okay. And here's how this can impact you today is it can affect how you set boundaries. And also, you may not feel safe in your body, and you may not trust on anybody, really, regardless of their gender. Okay. Another type of childhood trauma is neglect. And when it comes to neglect in childhood, it's not about what didn't happen. All right. And it's not about having the basic emotional care. It's way more than that. Maybe you did not feel protected. Maybe no one paid attention to your needs or your curiosity as a child. And maybe no one comforted you and were there for you. Today, this may impact you in this way. Maybe you feel that you're not important, that you're invisible as an adult just because of this. All right. Another one is another childhood trauma is lost and or instability. Mm, that one's really hard. Maybe you lost a parent very young, and maybe you were moving a lot. I know some people have moved like a lot, over a dozen times, 100, I don't know, but a lot. There was a lot of chaos, a lot of unpredictable things that happened. One thing I know for sure, even as an adult, but especially as a child, is that we need stability. So when you have to move from school to community, it truly puts the nervous system and body into shock because it cannot find rest and peace. So I think it puts it in fight or flight mode constantly. Okay. So as an adult, it does create anxiety, okay, and fear of abandonment because you're always having to leave. You get that fear from having to leave friends, from having to leave communities. You were never settled. Okay. Another type of childhood trauma is medical or environmental trauma. Okay. Medical, maybe it's a serious illness, a painful medical procedure that went on. Another big one, I think most of us have experienced this, honestly, is natural disasters and very, very unsafe environments. Maybe you grew up in a very war-torn country or city, community, wherever it may be at. That can definitely be hard, okay, especially as an adult now, okay? And today, this may affect you in this way. You may think that the world is not safe. Doesn't matter where you are, whether it's a peaceful community, the world is not safe because you were never safe as a child, never protected as a child. Okay. So, next key point here, I'm going to talk to you guys about some trauma triggers. Okay. Um, I think all of us have triggers. They show up very differently. We respond very different to triggers. Okay. Know that your trigger is not, it's not a sign of weakness. It's a message from your body. It's telling you what it needs, what it no longer needs, what needs to come up to the surface, and what you need to replace that with. Okay. All of you have triggers. I have triggers, okay? And triggers are something that reminds the body, the brain that there's a past danger. And even though it's not there, it still feels like it is, but it's not there, okay? So triggers can be a certain tone of voice, being ignored or criticized, conflict or yelling, feeling trapped, rejected, and powerless. Okay. And your body reacts before your brain can understand what's going on. Okay. They're not on the same page. Okay. And that's why trauma triggers and responses can be so incredibly confusing. They can be very intense and at times very hard to understand. Okay. Here are some common trauma responses, and they're very normal. Just because you experience these trauma responses, it does not make you weak or different. It doesn't. It truly doesn't. Makes you human. Okay. One of them is freezing or shutting down. Another one is overthinking or constantly worrying. Another one is strong emotional reactions, avoiding certain situations, and feeling numb or disconnected. Okay. And all of those are survival responses. They're not flaws. That's how we used to survive. That it is, right? And I want to walk you through how can you heal those triggers. And I want you to set realistic expectations when it comes to how you want to heal this. Okay. When you heal trauma, when you're working on it, does not mean your body doesn't react. It does not mean you forget um, everything that happened. Okay. You need to dissect and see, is this serving me? Is this working for me? Or is this holding me back, pushing me away from my purpose? Okay. Number one, you need to understand what happened. Okay. You need to learn that what happened wasn't your fault. Your reactions make sense. Your feelings are very valid. And you need to know that you're not alone. All right. And also, you need to build safety. Your nervous system heals best when you feel emotionally safe, when you feel heard and respected, when you feel supported by a community, by friends, by family, by people that you trust, people that will be there for you no matter what to help you grow. Okay. And also learning to regulate different skills. Again, different things work for people, okay? It could be slow breathing, grounding yourself through texture, temperature, or just going for a walk just through your environment, okay? Whatever that works for you, whatever that brings you back to your being, that reminds you, I am safe. Please do that, okay? And you need to begin to express emotions safely, okay? Because you need to talk to people you trust. You need to find ways to let all the anger out, all the pain out, all of it. Find healthy ways to do that to cope, okay? It could be through getting help from professionals. Maybe you paint. I paint. I love it. Maybe you draw. Maybe you sing. Whatever it may be, please express yourself. And when you express yourself, trust in the process. Do not expect for everything to be perfect. At times, there are things that may come up for you that you may not even understand why you're even experiencing them to begin with. Okay. And just take it easy and trust the process. Okay. Trust it. Okay. And as I wrap up, I want you to know that lots of people um, have been through traumas that are even hard to speak about. And these traumas, they surface, and most of those people don't realize that all of the chaos they continue to go through goes way, way, way back when they were young. Okay. And it can impact them right now as teens, as adults, and the patterns they continue. Healing is not linear. It's a roller coaster, really. That's what life is, okay? And your trauma does not define you at all, okay? So trust in yourself, trust in the process, and get the help you need and know that you can do this. All right. That is a wrap, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment. I love hearing from you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.